It's day 7. It's July 1st, 2016. We're in Hickman, Nebraska, and we're here with local farmer Noah Jacobson. Noah, thank you for spending some time with us here today. We're in front of his soybean field. Noah, this looks pretty good. I know you said earlier that you're having some issues here, some weed pressure.
Yeah, lots of weed pressure. Mare's tail has been pretty difficult to kill as of the last couple of years, and we're trying to find ways to kind of do that. Hopefully, they released dicamba, so we have another option to kill this mare's tail. But if you can get it burned back early, then it's not a very big issue. But it all depends on if you can get in the field early in the spring and get it done. But the wind and rain has prevented us in this area from getting that accomplished.
Now, you also mentioned earlier that you got it in around what? First part of May?
Yep.
This area, did you have any planting issues?
A little bit. We've had really wet springs, and it's really saturated the ground to where the ground has these small springs in them. So you could plant maybe 75% of a farm, and then you'd have to come back in and spot stuff in. Has been pretty much the normal thing around here the last 2 years.
Right.
And so it's been more of an issue for soybeans than it has been for corn, because we've been able to get our corn in time for those early spring rains that catch up and really slow us down. But yeah, guys have been trying to, they'll open up the field with do some field cultivating just to try to get that ground to dry out. We've had a lot of that recently, whereas normally we're just strictly no-till in this area, but guys have been putting some steel to their ground to try to dry it out.
So it looks like you've had plenty of moisture, but what was the month of June for you? Was it hot?
Yeah, the month of June was really hot and dry, extremely dry. In southeast Nebraska, we've had an inch and a half of rain in the last 5 weeks, and that was in one event. And so we've had 19 plus days of over 90 degrees, which is the third highest record of 90-degree days for southeast Nebraska. So.
Right. Well, we've been hearing that along our entire tour, that June was relatively hot. A lot of guys were experiencing summer weather through June. Now, Nebraska had record crops last year, both in corn and beans. How does this compare to last year, and how are you going to rate it out of 1 out of 10? 1 out of 10 out of your 5-year average?
Sure. I'm not too sure on it just yet. If we can get some rain, I think everything will just be just fine. It could be a 7 or 8 out of 10 out of the last 5 years, and early on the corn looks really good. It wasn't hurt by excessive rains like we had last year, where we had a lot of leaching of nitrogen, and
Sure.
We had exceptional bean yields last year. Probably the best we've seen in the last, I would say, 10 years. And so I'm kind of looking forward to maybe catching some of those late August, September rains here, and we can have another great bean crop.
Right. Now, this is 30-inch rows?
Yeah, 30-inch rows.
This is dry land. A lot of this area is dry land. You got to go further, what is it? South yep. to get to the irrigated stuff. In this area, I mean, a lot of questions about, guys maybe tried to save money because of lower crop prices, so they went after, underperforming genetics. Are you seeing any of that sort of stuff?
I wouldn't say that in this area, no.
Okay.
We've had, maybe we get away from this triple stacks when we rotate. This area, we traditionally don't do corn on corn here. Okay. We rotate every other year, and so instead of doing triple stacked corn, guys are kind of doing double stack, because you can get away from not needing that extra genetic. But other than that, no, I would say everyone is staying with the course on that.
Right. And the other question, my last question was, have guys tried to cut costs, save money on fertilizer inputs and that sort of thing?
From the ones that I've talked to, are really just kind of staying the course. Okay. You know what you need to do. Maybe cut back on building your soils and just maintain the fertility in your soils rather than building them up when the prices have been low. But we've been pretty fortunate. We have a lot of processors near here in Lincoln that process soybeans and pay pretty good premiums for that, and we have ethanol plants in the area here in Nebraska that keep things pretty competitive. And so if you're willing to go get those extra pennies a bushel,
Sure.
it's doable.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
You betcha.
Appreciate it.